Hello everybody. Yes, I'm Florian Reuter, I'm CEO of Native Documents, and we're going to improve word processing for a messaging-driven workplace. And I guess everybody of you by now typed in things like, we should rephrase paragraph 3 on page 2 on your Facebook for Work, Slack, or whatever messaging system. And let's face it, so documents are really second-class citizens in a messaging-driven workplace. The problem is, a lot of businesses still rely on documents to get the job done. So the solution is really to make documents first-class citizens in a messaging-driven workplace. And we have two concepts for doing so. The first is what we call messaging first, and the second one is what we call interoperability first. So the messaging first concept, we applied things like, we give you persistent deep links. What does that mean? So whenever you do a selection in your document, a unique URL is being generated, and you can just use that URL to copy and paste it into your email, Slack, Facebook for Work, whatever, and say, have a look, can we change this? The links are persistent in a way that even if the document is edited, is changed, the links are still valid over time. The other thing is interoperability first. So we're really targeting enterprise customers and governments, and their interoperability really is key. And for that, we developed a layout engine which has a really high quality in terms of interoperability with Microsoft Word. So we're really obsessed with interoperability, and if you look at the founders, that explains it a bit where it comes from. So I was an engineer at OpenOffice. I was responsible for the writer's Word import and export features and fidelities. And I've participated in hundreds of pilot studies in medium and large organizations and governments. And the number one problem we had competing with Microsoft Office really was interoperability. And that thing is still validated. We're selling our layout technology today to governments and enterprises, and they picked us because we have a really high fidelity. So what do we think our value is? So we think we have two things. We have one is the technology, which is really needed if you're a corporation and you want to go out and compete in governments and enterprises. And the other thing is we believe that this messaging first strategy we're applying to word processing is going to really change the way how people interact with documents and messaging, and finally really improving or adding productivity value to the whole process. So thanks very much.
Okay, Florian, you said you're selling to governments.
That's true, yes.
Which governments? Where are they? And who has the brains to be able to embrace this solution?
So yeah, we're selling our layout engine, and that's mainly a PDF converter at the moment. So the Department of Justice here in California uses that to generate documents. And this is really where they have very high, they need very high fidelity. They have very high standards. They're lawyers. They need the numberings to be right, and so you don't mess with the documents. I think we're one of the very few people who have the technology to really pull it off.
Are you seeing more traction in the public sector with this solution right now than the private sector? Or are there different business verticals that are starting to play? Because this is a question that kind of comes up with all entrepreneurs and all startups that I work with. They think the solution is going to be a success in one vertical. 6 months later, you find out, wait a minute, it's coming from a whole different angle and everything. So are you running into that also?
Right. So the one thing I'm really certain about is that I don't want to end up with, the market is really segmented. You have governments and businesses which need this interoperability, and then you have the free market, which is basically a lot of the non-interoperability stuff for consumers and things like that. And this is free, so it's going to be very hard to make money in that space. So we believe that if companies who start selling enterprise messaging systems and stuff like that, they're going to run into that problem that they have to have a certain level of fidelity with the documents, plus these new features to really boost productivity. Otherwise, the manager would just say, stop messaging and start working.
So, currently, if I'm You don't have any customers right now at the present time.
Yeah. So we have customers for layout technology, and this stuff is really new, and we're just starting rolling it out. Yeah.
And so, what's your business model? How are you going to make money from it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's got to be a freemium model. That's what we'll do. The interesting thing about that is when we showed people the idea, they came up with very interesting things. Like one is analytics, for example, you could use as something to make money from. So the people are interested whether somebody really clicked the link or not, and what part of the document. So yeah, we're going to have a freemium model.
So, if the United States Justice Department says, I want to use this, it's free.
Well, of course not. But the thing is, I shouldn't have mixed that. You know, it's the one thing is really to emphasize that our layer technology is really unique and really different. For that, we believe having a freemium model will get us into small teams in corporations at the beginning, and you know, just to differentiate ourselves from things like Google Docs or whatever, we're gonna be able to compete because we have a high fidelity, plus the deep links, plus all the things which make it work with messaging.
So, and you probably haven't answered, but what stops Microsoft from doing an update and freezing you out of Microsoft Docs?
That's true. Yeah, Microsoft really is a competitor, but having said that, there are others who need to compete with Microsoft, and we think it's going to be our customers, and we think we're going to get that leverage. So Microsoft, for example, has a service called Yammer, stuff like that. So they're competing in the enterprise messaging space. So we think if other companies like Slack, Facebook, or whatever compete with Microsoft, they're going to need a solution like that.
So, this works with Microsoft, right? Or Word?
Yeah. So,
And that's the number one word processing.
that's true. Yeah, we have a very high interoperability. So our product is really, you have a website, you back up your document in, you get a web-based view of it. It's actually very high fidelity, and you can just generate links
And then,
co-edit and real-time proliferate.
and then when you pull it out, will it work in dot?
Yes, you can export to docx, you can export to PDF.
Okay. Well, 2 and 3, 7. Okay. I give you a 7. I thought the presentation was very good. I think the technology is great. And when you said freemium to a sales guy, no, we got. I really think there's going to be a way of. There is a way of making money doing this, and I would beg you to talk to one of us that had experience in the public sector and not letting them off the hook for anything. All right.
I gave you 2 because I was not sure how you were going to make money if I invested in this company. Except for second is I wasn't sure of your business model, and I don't think you are either. Third is,
Pretty sure, yeah.
third is, I really think you need to sit down and go over your market strategy. Who am I going to sell it to, and why are they going to pay for it?
Okay.
You know, you're not going to be selling to public entities for free. So you're very much giving it away for free because they're not going to use it.
I can be a 3 because I'm a lawyer, and I know that this is a insane problem that we all go through. And I was wobbling between a 2 and a 3 because there's a lot of solutions out there, and they're expensive, and they're complicated, and lawyers, not myself included, hopefully, are incredibly slow to adapt to anything new. So I wobbled, but